Happy New Year, Toku students, and welcome to the classroom. Wait, why am I on a tropical island instead of in my classroom?
Don't you remember? You took us on a field trip here because it's too cold back home.
Oh yeah, that's right. What a weird thing for me to forget. Maybe I forgot because it's so sweltering hot around here. We may have chosen a vacation spot a little too close to the equator for my liking. It's making me really want a glass of water, but if I can't have that, maybe a class about a water-themed Kamen Rider will work to quench my thirst instead. Guess it's worth a try. Let's dive into the complete history of Kamen Rider Poseidon from Movie War Megamax. Kamen Rider times Kamen Rider Fourze and OOO's Movie War Megamax was released on December 10th, 2011, and is at least so far basically the only major production to feature this evil rider, aside from the miniseries Drive Saga Kamen Rider Brain and a flashback in Kamen Rider Outsiders. A large amount of people worked on planning this film, so I'm not really sure who initially came up with this villain, but I will mention that the Kamen Rider OOO's section of the movie was written by Yasuko Kobayashi, so I'm sure she was probably involved in his creation. One of these fine folks most likely designed the rider, and here's what appears to be concept art of the character, complete with loads of information about his suit. He looks sort of similar to Kamen Rider Abyss from Decade, and may have been based on this rider. Jun Watanabe was Kamen Rider Poseidon's suit actor, and he was voiced by Atsushi Arai while controlling Miharu Minato, and Kinji Hamada while independent. Atsushi Arai's character, as you may already know, ends up being taken over by Kamen Rider Poseidon in the movie, and there is actually behind-the-scenes footage of Arai acting and talking about the role, which is cool to see. I'll put a link with the video I found with this footage in the description. The villain is named after one of the 12 Olympians in Greek mythology, who was Lord of the Sea in Bora Trident, which the writer's deepest harpoon weapon could be a reference to. Okay, that was cool information, but it didn't cool me off. Maybe some in-universe history will help? I guess we're gonna find out, huh? Kamen Rider Poseidon was an evil rider born from core metals in the year 2051. Even in that distant future, Kosei Kogami from Kamen Rider OOO's was apparently still alive, still obsessed with the powers of core metals as before. He met a young man named Miharu, or Mikao, Minato, aka Kamen Rider Aqua, who was struggling to battle the monsters of his era due to fear, including fear of water, which he needed to power his belt. So Kogami offered him 3 brand new shark, whale, and wolffish core metals, which would allow him to transform into a different Kamen Rider, Poseidon, without needing water. But things didn't go according to plan, as all the core metals and cell metals of the past ended up somehow entering Miharu's body through a black hole. Perhaps they were attracted to the core metals on his belt, and creating a greed with a desire to battle strong opponents inside of him, which instantly took control of the weak man. The greed ended up traveling through time thanks to a time anomaly caused by Solu meteors that crashed on Earth, and traveled to the past in order to battle the Kamen Riders of the past, the strongest opponents of the modern day. Upon arriving in the age of Kamen Rider OOO's, he very quickly took out the first people he encountered, uttering his catchphrase, "Don't beg for your life, you'd be wasting your time." He then went off to search for tougher opponents, and summoned a bunch of Kuzu Yummies to attack civilians, some of which attacked Eiji Hino, aka Kamen Rider OOO's, friends. Eiji arrived just in time to save his friend Hina, but then Kamen Rider Poseidon showed up and easily knocked the hero unconscious, without a struggle. Pathetic. But then, Akira Date appeared, challenging Poseidon to fight him as Kamen Rider Proto-Birth. This fight lasted a bit longer, and Date even got some reinforcements when his old friend Shintaro Goto appeared and transformed into Kamen Rider Birth to assist him. But their attacks proved to be futile against this future rider's power, and Date's Proto-Birth driver was damaged. Laughing about his success in overcoming the Birth team, Kamen Rider Poseidon was taken by surprise when Hino Eiji, who had actually been the greed Ankh in disguise this whole time, suddenly used his hand to reach into Poseidon's back and grab several core metals out of his body. He had only been pretending to be unconscious the whole time, and was just waiting for an opening. Ankh then tossed the real Eiji some of these metals, and he transformed into Kamen Rider OOO's. OOO's was actually able to put up a good fight against Poseidon, thanks to the power of the core metals. But as the battle was really starting to go Eiji's way, Poseidon suddenly stopped fighting for a moment and grabbed OOO's shoulder, almost as though he was pleading for help, and then escaped the area. Eiji noticed this strange behavior, and after thinking about it for a while, was able to guess the truth that the man had been overcome by the power of the core metals. It didn't take long for Poseidon to return for another showdown, and this time around, Eiji decided against trying to defeat his foe, and made up his mind to try and save the man drowning in the metals' power. But the Greed had no intention of giving his human form up that easily, and hit Eiji with a blast that sent the hero flying. Luckily, Eiji was able to find something soft to land on. His head. Ow. Apparently, the stunt actor who played Eiji here was taken to the hospital after this scene, but at least it looked really convincing for his trouble. With his enemy defenseless, Poseidon rushed in to deliver the final blow and appeared to succeed in doing so. But it was then revealed that, just in the nick of time, Kamen Rider Aqua had finally taken back some control of his body after seeing Hino Eiji's bravery, and was able to redirect the deepest harpoon to only graze his opponent's arm. Following this, Miharu Minato was able to completely regain control from Poseidon, and for the moment the Greed's power appeared to vanish. Kamen Rider Aqua told Oz and his friends his story, and Ankh and Eiji devised a plan for when the Greed inevitably showed itself again. When the Greed eventually regained control of Miharu's body, Ankh, who was waiting for an opening, snatched more metals out of Poseidon. But suddenly, the Greed within Miharu was able to separate itself from him, accomplishing independent existence, and he took hold of poor Kamen Rider Aqua and tried to finish him and his allies off. But Ankh was able to block the attack, and Poseidon left the area. For some reason, the Greed decided to go fight the riders of another time period instead, but Ankh and Eiji were able to intercept him before he could depart through a black hole. He created a new army of yummies, but Oz easily took them out and confronted Poseidon, who was kind of being a slowpoke about leaving. The two began to battle under the sea, with Oz using the Shouta combo and his octopus legs to strike the evil rider, but Poseidon was able to withstand the attack. Date and Goto reappeared to help Oz, riding the waves on jet skis, but Poseidon used his halberd's water blast attack, and they were knocked into the water. But then, another jet ski appeared. Wait, what's with all the jet skis? Inspired by Eiji's words to him earlier, Miharu Minato arrived and was able to transform into Kamen Rider Aqua, despite his fears, including his fear of water, and successfully jumped and flipped on his jet ski to avoid Poseidon's blasts. Clearly frustrated, Poseidon leapt into the air to strike Aqua down, but the two met mid-air and collided, and Poseidon retreated while Aqua pursued him. They briefly engaged in close-range combat on land, and then Aqua was able to shove Poseidon to the ground. After requesting Oz's help for the final blow, Aqua used his sliding kick finishing move called Oceanic Break to knock Poseidon back, and Eiji used the Tajidor combo to dive from the air and finish him off, both looking away triumphantly as the Greed's metals went flying. And the evil rider was Poseidon done for. But not the Poseidon core metals. This guy suddenly appeared and took them, and the story went on. But without the Greed, so we'll end our look at the in-universe history here, but keep the class flowing by moving on to minor appearances. As I mentioned earlier, Poseidon made a small appearance in the comical Drive Saga Kamen Rider Brain miniseries, in which he worked for the evil organization Mu and fought Kamen Rider Brain, but failed to do much of anything. He was brutally finished off by the Green Rider with his Poison Hands ability. He may have also appeared in a flashback in Kamen Rider Outsiders Episode 4, but I couldn't determine that for sure. He made a cameo appearance in Kamen Rider Drive Secret Mission Type High Speed True Power Type High Speed is Born. Long name there, and was featured in the Kamen Rider Wizard edition of the SIC Hero Saga, even getting a chapter named after him. He's also been featured in at least 4 different Kamen Rider video games, those being Kamen Rider Battle Ganba Ride, Kamen Rider Rider Bout, Superhero Generations, and Kamen Rider Butoba Soul. Now as far as merchandise of the villainous rider, that's pretty hard to come by. You can buy his core medals, and his belt, his Ganba Ride card, and there's even a toy of Oz using his medals, which never happened in any show or movie. Aside from these, there's a chibi figure of Poseidon, and even apparently a Sentai Hero series figure of him. But I couldn't find the latter anywhere, which is too bad because I collect figures from that line here and there. And as far as I'm aware, that's it. If you know of any other figures, or anything else I missed in this video, be sure to leave a comment. You can also help out my channel by liking, subscribing, following me on X, and checking out the many Toku figures in my eBay store by clicking the link that I will paste in the description. And now I need to help my channel by providing the host of the channel, me, with something that's gonna help me handle this heat. I'm burning up!
We could just jump in the ocean.
Oh, not a bad idea. Geronimon! Ah, look out! Don't splash me!
Huh? Don't tell me you're scared of water, Pencil Leopard.
Yeah, it's refreshing and wonderful. Aside from the part about it turning me yellow. Scared? Who said anything about being scared of water? I wash my hands with it and drink it every day. Swimming? I don't like to be submerged, and I forgot my swimsuit. Yeah, that's it.
You don't need one. See, the professor just jumped in with his suit coat.
Oh. Oops.
So come on in, Pencil Neck, and stop acting like Kamen Rider Aqua.
No, don't you see I have stationery all over me? I just... Wait a minute. I'm crying, and tears of water are coming down my face. And I'm just fine. Well, what do you know? Maybe a little dip wouldn't be so bad after all. Wait for me! Ah, yeah, that feels good. It's official, folks. I'm a water cat now. I might even buy a jet ski. Wow, good job helping him conquer his fear, Kashimu-kun. You made that look easy.
Yeah, guess I'm a national.
You mean a natural.
Since I'm so good, I should help you with your other fears, too.
Like, what?
Oh, I don't know. How about we start with...
Huh?
Fire! This session might take a little longer.
Should I call an ambulance, Professor? Yeah, I think I will.